Hey everybody, this is Steve Poland. Wanted to show you something today that I've been working on for a little while, and that is this double 40-gallon breeder rack. Right now we're down in my basement. This is kind of an extra room where the water heater is, world's largest water heater, my furnace and stuff. And there was really a perfect spot here for some fish tanks. And I wanted to get the 20-gallon that I'd been using for my fry growout tank. I wanted to get that kind of out of the way. I'm happy to have our 125 upstairs. You know, that's a display tank. It looks good. I'm happy to have the 90 upstairs even though our office is kind of turned into a fish room. I'm okay having both of those upstairs, but having the 20 that was really in our dining room just wasn't working, and I wanted some more space for the growouts. I saw that there was this rack that is sold at Lowe's, which I will link to in the description, that's perfect for these 40 breeders, so I decided to do that. I will go through all this. I'll try to provide as much in the description as I can in terms of links and where you can get some of this stuff. A lot of it's just normal stuff you can get, pet store, fish store, Amazon, wherever, but this might be a little long, sorry, but I wanted to show you guys. Been wanting to show you guys for a while. Okay, so top tank here is fry right now. It's all, well, I guess they're really just juvies. It's the yellow labs that I featured in a bunch of videos, from their spawning to their birth, or really everything about them so far. So here's how they're doing. As you can see, great color. They're growing, looking good. I've got a bunch of Sequoia in there as well. I actually have 2 batches of those that I've had pretty recently. So you can see there are some bigger ones. And let me see, there's some smaller ones that you can maybe see down here. So that gives you a pretty good comparison of the size. So that's what this is going to be. I've got a bunch of tumblers. Don't have any running right now because I don't have any eggs, but the egg tumblers will go in this tank, and the fry will go in this tank. And then once they get a little bit bigger, they'll go down to this tank. And right now I've got those, there's 2 yellow labs in here. Those are not part of that other batch. These are just ones that I got that are growing out. Some of my smaller Demasoni that just don't seem to be getting bigger up in the main tank. There are some Chihuahua in here that I got from Dave's Fish as part of my peacock order. They're the only Mbuna I got as part of that order, and they really have not looked great, honestly. One of them was really torn up when he got here, and they were packaged separately, so it didn't happen in the shipping. I just kind of got shipped a pretty torn up fish, which I was not super happy about. And really, their color is not great. I don't know. Maybe they just don't color up until they get older. I've never had any of those, so I don't know. Here's another one. So I'm hoping maybe if I have them in this tank where they're not competing for food, that they'll grow a little faster and start to color up a little better. Also have some ACI in this tank that I'm actually going to be selling. I've got a bunch of ACI upstairs that I need to show you guys at some point. I picked up a bunch of them, so I'm selling off a few. So that's what this tank is. Right now it's sort of holding tank for those guys and the smaller guys that are growing out. So those other yellow labs that are up above will move down here at some point, and it's pretty awesome having both of these set up. So one thing that I did as part of this project is I drilled these tanks. This is my first time drilling tanks, and it went actually pretty well. It was pretty easy. I'm kind of still kicking around exactly how I want these overflows to be set up, but right now I've just got a 90-degree elbow coming in with just another small piece of pipe that I can adjust the size of if I want to. I can put a smaller one in there if I want the water level to come down. And if you can see, you can't really tell probably because there's not enough light, but I've just got it's a piece of like a media bag that I cut and just put like a zip tie around it. So it's really just so that nobody goes down the drain there. And then I also have this tied into my drip system that you've seen in my drip system video, which I know you've all watched every second of, because you watch every second of all my videos. But really my drip system is pretty awesome, and I suggest that you check it out if you don't know what I'm talking about, because there's a good steady drip of fresh water coming into this tank, both of these tanks, at all times. There you can see it dripping in right next to this crappy hang on the back filter that I've got on here just temporarily. So hoping that'll also help these guys grow fast. And I just am into these drip systems and having them run on every tank all the time now. It's so easy, keeps nitrates down. It's kind of the best thing. In terms of filtration on these tanks, in this top one I threw the sponge filter that was on the 20 gallon to kind of seed the tank. And then I got one for each of these. I got a bigger sponge filter that's going to be more of the permanent filter. And like I said, I put a hang-on back that I had laying around on there just for some mechanical filtration. Threw some of these tiny little clay pots that I got, I think, at Walmart for like extremely cheap. Threw those in there just so that it's broken up a little bit. Threw this random rock in there. Went pretty big on the heaters because this basement, this room in my basement is cold pretty much year round. Wanted to make sure I didn't have any issues with temperature. These lights, I got some, these are really cheapo LED lights from that, I think it's Top Dog Sellers on eBay that some of you probably know about. You know, just these 3-foot LEDs. Were not expensive at all, and I refuse to run fluorescent lights at this point, just in terms of power consumption. Just I'm kind of done with it. So lights on there too. I'm running an Aqueon on this tank here. Again, just because I had it. There you can see where the overflow pipe comes down from the other tank. They're kind of connected together and then they drain off. You can't really see that though. It's dark back behind the tank. Again, big sponge filter. I threw on, and when I had my 20 up and running, I had that small sponge filter. Then I had an Eheim 2213. So I threw that on here as well to see this bottom tank. And these have been up and running for a few weeks now, so I probably could take that off. But because at this point I'm running a sponge filter, the Eheim, and the Aqueon on this bottom tank. And I threw some of this rock that I got at some point from some random tank that I bought and sold. So that's filtration. That's pretty much all the equipment I think that's going on these tanks. This rack, it's pretty cool. This rack, you could actually have 4 tanks because the rack is in 2 pieces. So you could do 240 breeders on 2 separate kind of half racks, but I don't really have the space for that because I've already got this other rack over here with a bunch of random aquarium stuff on it, and the 20 that's now going to be my quarantine tank that's over there cycling. But I wanted to just make this whole thing one rack and put, you know, have some storage up there for random aquarium stuff, which is nice to have. Not that I don't already have a ton of other random aquarium stuff all over. If you can see that, it's probably dark, but yeah, so that's my setup down here. So it's really nice for me to have only the display tanks upstairs in the main house, and have this kind of almost like a laboratory here. I know a lot of people have fish rooms in their basement. This isn't, you know, really a fish room. It's just kind of a little fish area, but you know, my thing is I've got Mbuna. They spawn like crazy. I can't bring myself to let them spit in the tank and have the fry get eaten. I'm gonna have to start, you know, selling these juveniles off at some point, which is fine, or giving them away. Even I don't even really care. It's fun for me to see the progression. That's been one of the most fun parts of this hobby for me. Is that whole thing, which is really, I did not set out to do that at all. I just got fish, and like so many people, fish spawn, and that's what happens. So anyway, this has been my big project for the past few weeks, and I really should have probably done a whole series on this and shown you every step of it, but I didn't really know what I was doing, so I didn't have a grand plan. I kind of just picked this up and went with it, so didn't really document it too well, but I wanted to show it to you. You'll be seeing these tanks, I'm sure, a lot here in the future, but for now, this is what they look like. Thanks everybody for watching, checking this out. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. Otherwise, just like this video if you like it. Subscribe if you like this and want to see more. Always appreciate that. And as a reminder, I do have my 100 subscriber contest going right now. So please check out that video. It's the video right before this one, unless I take too long to post this, but should be the most recent video before this. Have a chance to win some prizes, learn about some other cool aquarium YouTubers, so check that out. All right, thanks everybody. Have a good one.